let's check in with Jake Kocorowski, who has a brand new website. He said, to hell with this. I'm going to make myself a millionaire. I'm done making everybody else millions of dollars. I'm going to do it my damn self. I'm proud of my boy, Jake Kocorowski. Follow him on Twitter at Jake Coco. Watch him right now. You can see his mug right there on YouTube as we live stream this thing.
Man, I got to shave.
What'd you say?
I got to shave first and foremost, man. I didn't realize I was this scruffy, so I apologize.
You're fine. There he is, Jake Kocorowski on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. Again, use the @ symbol at The Fan Milwaukee, wearing a stylish hat, the whole deal. And you are, or have been, out at Platteville for training camp practices and so forth. Before we get to that part of things, let's talk about the career of Jake Kocorowski and what you've decided to do.
Yeah,
because that's changed.
Yeah, no, it's always been something like that, right? With my life, yeah. I feel if people are Marvel fans, I feel like Thanos with like the Infinity Gauntlet with like the stones with the number, and each stone's the number of outlets I've worked for. But no, man, it's I started this new venture, Badger Observer. It's an independent Substack newsletter. It is a paid subscription because I'm trying to make it obviously with the way the economy can be. I wanted to make it affordable to fans, but I also have 3 boys that I need to feed and eat.
Yep.
And so, no, it's, I appreciate all the places I've been in the past. Right. I mean, I started this as a hobby and, with Scott Wisniewski doing an old podcast 13, 14 years ago. And then it turned into working at Buc-ee's with Quarter, and then went to Badger Blitz, and then to the SI network and whatnot. So, and then to the Wisconsin State Journal. And so it's been kind of a roller coaster up and down. And, unfortunately, late March, I found out I was no longer part of the State Journal. And, I did some work for the Wisconsin Badgers on SI network, and I appreciated all the time they did there. And I love, the guys there, but I want to do something a little bit different and kind of, you dive into the unique stories and kind of dive more into what, Wisconsin football, Wisconsin recruiting, Wisconsin volleyball, which I think is, obviously that team is a blue blood in volleyball, and it's gaining steam and popularity, that sport is. And so I decided to launch Badger Observer. And I appreciate you having me on, man. You've always been a great cheerleader for me, and I appreciate it. But yeah, it's, it's been fun, and we're slowly building, and I'm just, I'm excited. I'm excited, anxious, scared of going out on my own, all the emotions of, you're not just a reporter now, you're a small business owner, and it's a lot going on in terms of, you're not just reporting, you also have to report on the Badgers football team or the recruiting. I also got to report taxes to the state and other places. So making sure I have that all done as a small business owner, it's a little different from the normal, the normal tax ways that ways we've done it before. So, but anyways, no, it's great. I'm excited. I've gotten a lot of interest, and excited for what's to come.
It can be scary, obviously, at times, but if you work hard, I think it always will pay off in the end. And I know nobody outworks Jake Kocorowski. BadgerObserver.com. Check out the website today, BadgerObserver.com. I've said this before, and I will reiterate it. I am not as sold on Jeff Grimes as offensive coordinator of getting this thing turned around on the offensive side of the football as I think some are. I'm definitely not convinced that he's here more than a year before he leaves for a bigger, better opportunity. I feel like that's who this dude is. Which is fine. Everybody should be looking for the next best opportunity. So I don't even know how long he's going to be here. But having said all of that, this isn't going to be a traditional get under center and hand off 40 times a game. That's not what's going to happen, because they want Billy Edwards, the transfer from Maryland, to do something. Realistically, how much do you think they're going to be moving this ball through the air with Billy Edwards this year?
I think they're going to have. They're going to have to. And I think they actually, Joe Brenner, obviously a Whitefish Bay graduate, now is the starting left guard, was talking to him about like what made him excited about the offense. He talked about the weapons they have, and that's going to be part of the passing game. And that, that's where you have, Billy Edwards, and, he experienced, name, his Big Ten experience. Wasn't great at Maryland, but also that offensive line last year was not great either. But I think with the downfield passing, you guys have Vinny Anthony II and Jaden Ballard, who's an Ohio State transfer. Brady Collins told me during the winter, or not the winter.
Brady Collins is the strength and conditioning coach, for those of you that don't know. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. Brady told us that, we had, was it Vinny Anthony ran and Jaden Ballard each ran 4.4s. And that's some speed, especially if they're opposite each other at the line of scrimmage. And you have speed with Tresh Kekahuna, who can work in the intermediate routes and go deep as well. And if he stays healthy, I mean, that's going to be, I think you have weapons in the passing game at receiver. The question is going to be, the Tanner Koziel experiment did not fizzled during spring, and now he's at Houston, but they brought in, someone who played at Missouri State, and Lance Mason, who, big time receiving numbers there at Missouri State. And I saw a little bit of him today, but it's only the first practice of preseason camp, but it's, I think they're going to, one, you can't be one dimensional anymore. And two, I think with what Jeff Grimes tries to do, it's a wide zone rushing scheme. So there's going to be more of a rush emphasis for Wisconsin this year, but that can open up play action. When you have play action set up with the speed that they have, they were, and this is just spring ball, but they were hitting deeper intermediate routes with Anthony and Ballard and others, with that speed. And so I think, what Grimes does is marry that wide zone rushing scheme that you kind of see with like the Sean McVays and the, Matt LaFleur's for Green Bay, but he's going to do it the downfield passing game too. And I think, it's going to be, it's a prove it year for Wisconsin. So I know I'm hopefully I'm not talking a bunch of hot air, but I think Wisconsin has the opportunity to go and do some things passing wise. I think they have the quarterback. I think there's some receiving targets at receiver and running back. And I think tight end will come along too with Jackson Aker and you're thinking Mason and Tucker Ashcraft. But I think they have the tools. It's just, one, staying healthy through preseason camp, and then two, also you have to do it against opponents, not someone against your own jersey.
You were at spring practice earlier today, first spring practice for the Badgers. How much bigger are they up front on the defensive side of the ball? Because I know that was something that they wanted to work on. Luke Fickell did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was a very much with what you're seeing with the updated rosters. Charles Perkins is a transfer from UT Martin. He he's up to 323 pounds, and it's not, it's not a lot of weight in my eyes. He holds it well, and he's got twitch and athleticism that makes it really interesting. It makes him a really interesting player. He might be, in my eyes, and again, we are one day into fall camp, but the way he played in the spring and just what he did at, the squat fest where he squatted, I think it was just about 600 pounds there. He has the athleticism, and now you're getting, coaching at the Division I or at the FBS level, at the Power 4 Big Ten level under EJ Whitlow. I think Charles Perkins is a name to watch on the interior defensive line. They have gotten bigger with the transfers like Parker Peterson from Tulane, who's 6'4", around, I think a little bit above 310. Ben Barton, who, obviously is a sixth-year in-state kid from the class of 2020 from Stratford. He's up to 325 at a listed weight.
How long does he get to play for? Till he's 35? How much longer is he going to be on the roster?
Because of the COVID year. Because of the COVID year, he got that.
Holy cow.
But then you have Dylan Johnson, who's a sophomore, who himself squatted, I think, at least 600 pounds during Squat Fest. He's up to over 310 right now too. So there are interior guys too, that they have built up where they have, I would say, around 6, potentially 7 guys on that defensive line, so they don't wear down like they did last year, where that was a big thing, where you're having these undersized defensive linemen towards the end of the year. And I looked at Pro Football Focus a few months ago, and the 3 main guys were Kurt Neal, who's now at Illinois, Barton, and Elijah Hills, and Hills was not that size. And so that's what contributed to them, in my eyes, giving up over 200 yards per game the last 5 games of the year and 12 total touchdowns on the ground. So I think they have addressed it. And, JVR Suggs could be a great interior rushing presence too. He's hovering right around 300 and is 6'2", 6'3". But then you also, it's not just the defensive line, it's the outside linebackers, where guys like Corey Walker or Michael Garner, who, were acknowledged or designated as defensive linemen at their previous schools, they're technically out on the edge as essentially defensive ends, but they're with the outside linebacker group, and Corey Walker's 290 right now. Michael Gardner's 300. So I think they're going to be able to stand up against the run. I mean, and Mike Tressel said it yesterday, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. He said that he thinks the most improved part's going to be stopping the run. And it's not just, I mean, that can't be wishful thinking. That has to happen this year against that schedule that they have starting, August 28th.
Talking with Jake Kocorowski, brand new website, Substack. Again, badgerobserver.com. Badgerobserver.com. Check it out. Follow him on Twitter at Jake Coco. I got my email address signed up last night. Jake, let's talk about pass rush, because this university for the last several years has put pass rushers into the National Football League. Do they have a couple of guys that you go, yep, you'll see them on Sundays getting after a quarterback?
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah, my answer is I don't think they do, but I figured I'd ask you and see what you had.
It's going to be interesting because I think, and today, just for letting fans know too, like they don't go straight to pads. What they do is they, for the first, day or two, they have these spider pads. They're very soft shoulder pads. And then they go half pack into shoulder pads and shorts and helmets. And then, after a while, a few more practices, I think it is, then they go full, they go full pack with everything. So it's kind of hard at times to see just what, like this first practice. But the guys got back. Like I think Suggs can be somebody. JVR Suggs can create interior rush. Charles Perkins is another guy, I think, from the defensive line that can create more pressure.
What about off the edge?
Off the edge, I would say Nick Clayton, he's a true freshman, but he's up near 240. And there was a sack he had in the spring game against the first team offensive lineman that showed his abilities. And he's kind of I think he can work into a rotation. He still needs to add weight onto his body down the road and strength, but he's shown the dedication as a freshman. That's the first name off the top of my head. I think guys like, in terms of NFL guys, that's hard to say. I would say Clayton, if he continues that trajectory. It's still hard to say though as a freshman, first year player who just enrolled in January. But I like Darrell Peterson with his hand in the ground more. He still gets in the backfield. He did so during the spring, but it's also, I think the interior is going to help the guys on the edge because that's going to also force more sacks. I think guys can make more plays on the edge. Maybe one guy though that we didn't see this spring that he was injured was Mason Reiger, who's the transfer from Louisville. He started working in. From what I could tell on my notes today, he did receive some first team reps, but he's a guy that got some pass rush, and he's a good former walk-on at Louisville, and now he transferred to Wisconsin, I think. And the kid's jacked. I think he's like 6'5", 250-ish. And but if he, I think it is a huge question to answer, and it will come off the edge, or will come from the inside with Christian Allegro and Tackett Curtis at inside linebacker, because both of those guys have shown speed. Yeah. Get after the quarterback too.
There he is, Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com. Follow him on Twitter at Jake Coco. Sign up for BadgerObserver.com. You've got a free sign up. You got a $7 a month sign up. You've got a group sign up option. You've got a full year option as well. All kinds of different options you can do at BadgerObserver.com.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right now, I'm running a deal through the first game of the season, until August 29th. $50 for a year. Which breaks down, it's just a little over $4 a month there. Otherwise, it's $7 a month and $69 a year. But, I'm going to have 3 to 4 newsletters out a week during preseason camp. I'm going to have a lot more just to cover practices so you guys see. But I'm planning on getting out on the recruiting trail going. I'm hoping to go national to go see some of the Wisconsin commits, like a 4-star wide receiver from Florida and Jaden Petit, along with 4-star quarterback Ryan Hopkins. We'll see how it goes. But we want
Charlie, you know what this is, don't you?
What's that?
This is a clever way for him to get to warm weather when it's cold here and tell his wife, sorry, hon, it's all about for the website. I got to go to Florida. It's tough. I know.
He's a smart man.
I got to go to Florida.
We got to. But we got that. But like I said, $50 for a year for the next month. It's a great sale. It's a small local business. And also just trying to give independent, authentic Wisconsin Badgers coverage. And that's, come give me a shot.
I like it.
Fun.
We are here for you whenever you need some more help. Jake Kocorowski, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks. Take care, guys.
You betcha. Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.